YouTube, it's Chris, welcome back to the channel. In this video I want to help you guys get the highest frames and lowest latency out of Black Ops 7 for your PC. Guys, this is the same engine since Modern Warfare 2 2022. We've been essentially paying for a DLC for the past few years. So I'm going to keep this video really short and simple and sweet because it's basically identical behavior to the older titles. Benchmarks are tested with these specs. Do not expect identical results on your hardware. That said, you can expect similar FPS and latency scaling with my recommendations. These guides are GPU focused, designed to reduce GPU load, lower latency, and let your CPU push maximum frame rate. Tests are done in repeatable, GPU bound scenarios for consistency, but real world performance may vary. I can't account for your CPU RAM strength, tuning, or how the game handles CPU load in live gameplay. For CPU expectations, check Hardware Reviewer CPU game benchmarks. While I test on high-end hardware, similar scaling applies on most systems unless your CPU bottlenecks. Grab the config, search Freethy GitHub, go on my GitHub, go to GitHub game configs. Click in your start menu, type scripts, click on this one. Make sure this setting is on so you can run PowerShell scripts. Scroll down, you'll find IWR. Click this to copy the code. Search PowerShell and you'll start. Right click PowerShell, run as administrator. Make sure PowerShell is running as administrator. Right click to paste or Control V. Press enter. Press 4 for Call of Duty, then enter. And press 1 for Call of Duty Black Ops 7 and then enter. It says run game once to generate config location. Config location is now app data local Activision Call of Duty players. No more in the documents folder. I've already ran the game once, so I don't need to do this step. I can just press enter. Now, you need to set your worker render count to your CPU cores -1. So if you have an 8-core CPU, you want to set this to 7. Now, if you have an Intel CPU with E-cores, work out what your performance cores are. All right. So if you have a 13900K, 14900K, you have 8 performance cores. You want to set it to those. So if you have 8 performance cores, you set it to 7. If you have a 9950X3D, 9900X3D, 7900X3D, 7950X3D, you want to go in BIOS and disable CCD1, just run Windows on CCD0. That'll be an 8-core CPU. You set this to 7. Let's say you have a 13600K and it is only a 6-core CPU. You will set the number to 5. Ignore the E-cores, please. You go to Task Manager. See, I have a 9800X3D, but there's no dual CCD, there's no E-cores like Intel. I have 8 cores. 0 is technically a number. That's why we set it to -1. I'm going to set this to 7 and then press enter. If you don't know, do a bit of research, okay? Always select no for set optimal settings and run in safe mode. Otherwise it will reset your config and you'll have to rerun this. Press any key, press 1, then press enter. What did that do? All that did was edit these files here and change them. There are a few extra things you can turn down in the config that you can't in-game that will help you quite a lot for frames. I'm not going to talk about them here because it's exactly the same as the other Call of Duty videos. You don't want to use the PowerShell script and you want to do it manually, that is fine too. You'll have to go to this location. So to get to this location easily, press Windows key R, type app data, then press OK, go to local, go to Activision, go to Call of Duty, go to players. Here's where the files are. You could simply go ahead, go to Call of Duty here, download Black Ops 7.zip, extract the files, unblock the files, then put the files here. If you want to reset this config or start completely fresh, you can either delete these files or you can go to local and delete the Activision folder. Let's launch the game now. Now, I don't know what's going on with this game, but it won't let me play it, which is a joke because I paid for it. So if any of you guys have that issue or you can't play early, join off a friend. It'll let you in. So I've done that. Now I'm going to leave the lobby and party, and now I'm actually in. You can see here, I'm in. Go into your graphics settings, guys, please. Your graphics, select your resolution and your display correctly. Make sure your refresh rate is maxed to what your display is. This will probably not be set properly. Sometimes the game won't set it properly. So just make sure you set this properly. Now, there are a couple of extra little things that are sort of cloud-based config or in the other config file that changes your bindings, which I didn't want to change. Go to quick settings here. I've got them saved here. So I want you to find dismemberment, gore effects, turn them off, reduce tinnitus sound, turn it on, find the on-demand texture streaming setting, which is in quality. Unfortunately, we can't turn this off anymore. Set that to minimal, the lowest, on, and the lowest. World motion blur, make sure that's off. Camera movement, make sure that's off. Inverted flashbang, make sure that's on. And camera, first person camera movement, because that'll actually be cloud-based config. So the config can't absolutely do everything. So you can find that in here. Make sure it's set to this. And if you want the highest benchmark run, for some reason, running the highest field of view gives you the best benchmark run. Dismemberment gore effects should be in here. Turn that off as well. Believe it or not, I see scaling with that in the benchmark too. Audio, I'm not too sure, but I'd probably still recommend loudness, EQ, and sucker punch, just like it was in Black Ops 6. It seems to be sort of the meta at the moment. There's reduced tinnitus sign if you guys are curious. Now, if you are not CPU bound and you are GPU bound, so if you are GPU bound, then your CPU can spit out more frames, but you have a bit of a weak GPU, or you're running a higher resolution or something like that. When that happens, it will be worth playing around with the upscaling, sharpening stuff. All right. So try AMD FSR, try DLSS, try XeSS, even try image scaling, try different presets. If it gets you more frames, great. You can use those until you upgrade your card later. You won't get as clear of an image as you do playing native resolution. This is actually native resolution. Fidelity CAS just adds a sharpening filter to the game. That's all that does. So if you don't like the sharpening filter, sure, turn it off. This is still native. Fidelity CAS is still native. This is just adding some sharpening to the game because the game has forced anti-aliasing. Isn't that amazing that this game has forced anti-aliasing, yet Arc Raiders that just came out doesn't, and yet Battlefield doesn't, and they tend to just want to force it. Now, if you guys hate anti-aliasing that much and you want to disable it and you don't care about losing like 100 FPS, I do have a disabled TAA video guide, which is technically using a custom DLSS file by using DLLAA in this game, and I have talked about it before and done videos on it. Okay, as you can see here, you use this custom file and you get this little overlay, and you have to press Control, Alt, and F6 twice, jitter debug jitter, and now anti-aliasing is off, but you're going to lose like 100 FPS doing that. So most of you probably won't want to do that. Just add AMD CAS, a little bit of sharpening, and away you go. All right, I'm going to put it back to Fidelity CAS. Now, for most of you, if you have a decent enough card, the settings you want to make the game look better, turn this to high, turn this to ultra. Okay, textures, make the textures look nice and clear. Anisotropic will make textures at a distance look clearer. Those would be the minimal bare settings that I want the game to look good. There's a lot of other stuff in here that actually doesn't help, like at all. It's just rubbish. So give that a go, see if that helps you. There's really nothing else to talk about. It's the same as Black Ops 6. It's the same as Modern Warfare 2. It's the same as Modern Warfare 3. We've been paying every year for a DLC, getting scared. So this game runs identical to Black Ops 6. If you're not getting the same frames as you were as Black Ops 6, you've set something up wrong. Okay, so just as a rule of thumb, you can go off that. Enjoy the config, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Optimizing game settings and config files can only do so much. Please consider going through this GitHub guide with video to cover the basic Windows and BIOS optimizations. If hardware is limiting your performance, please check out my build guide for upgrade and PC build suggestions. Make sure to update to the latest graphics drivers, or at least the recommended version from the game developer or game mentioned in driver patch notes from the driver developer. The NVIDIA app with certain settings turned on will cause frame rate loss. Turn off optimized games and creative applications. Turn off automatically optimized newly added games and apps. Avoid using game filters and statistics. As far as AMD drivers, I've not seen any tests, so just be cautious. Game launchers should have logging, game overlay, hardware acceleration, and cloud sync turned off. Please do this for web browsers, Spotify, Discord, or anything else open while you play. Any monitoring or RGB program causes frame rate loss even closed. This includes Asus Armoury Crate, MSI, Gigabyte, ASRock driver utilities, NZXT Cam, Corsair IQ, Lee L Connect, and etc. Uninstall if possible. Services and drivers for these apps still run even if the apps are closed. GPU-Z, hardware info, MSI Afterburner, and etc. can cause frame rate problems when logging GPU power. Close these out when gaming or turn off GPU power logging in the settings. If you like your Windows, game, BIOS, hardware, or stream setup fresh, tuned, and optimized, support me and book my PC service. All links can be found in the description below. Just check Linktree.